setting your child and your teachers and the school staff up for success by communicating with your child what is going to be expected and what is going to be happening emotionally with everyone involved with going back to the brick and mortar schools. So if your child is going back to in-person learning, you need to sit down with them, gauge your conversation at the age that your child is at, but you need to talk to them about the guidelines that are put in place and how important it is to follow those guidelines to keep everyone healthy. You also need to talk about the emotions that everyone will be going through. It's going to be a much different environment, and it's going to be scary for a lot of individuals. So as you're talking with your child about the emotions they will be feeling, you need to also share with your child the emotions the teacher and the staff of the school are going to be feeling. And the reason I bring this up is that I was thinking about how anxious and scared the teachers are going to be being back into school. If you talk with your child and explain to them that the teacher may be quick, may react maybe not in such a kind way if the child isn't following one of the guidelines, and explaining why the teacher may be quick at times, that will help the child to understand why that is going on. That the child won't take it and feel like, oh, I'm this upset the teacher, or I did this, or I did that. They'll know what's happening and they will be able to adjust better with that situation. So it is key to be having these conversations with your children, and not just once. As your child comes home from school each day, you want to sit down and talk with them. See what was going on, what was said, what situation might have happened that made them nervous, also the ones that made them happy. But it is key for success, for this all to work, if everyone understands what's going on. And by talking to your child about how the teachers and the staff are going to be feeling during this time will set your child up for success, and it will set the school up for success. So if your child is older, and especially if your child's in high school, you need to have a blunt conversation with them and make sure they understand the situation for the teachers and the staff at the school if the guidelines aren't followed. If someone gets sick and what could happen. It is important to be following these guidelines. It is important for everyone to understand the emotions that are going to be happening as the schools are open. So again, this is not a one-time conversation. You should be doing this at least once a week, if not at first every day after school, to remind them, to talk with them. Your child might come home and say, Miss Jones yelled at Sam because he didn't have his mask on for a minute. I mean, she got so upset. Talk with your child about that. That Miss Jones is anxious, Miss Jones is scared. And that's why she was quick. That she's there because she loves you all. That she wants you to do well. So by talking with your children about everyone's emotions that's going to be going through that school, will set them up for success and will set up the teachers. This is a key component to making this work. So if you started school, have this conversation now. If you haven't started school, start working into the conversation, gradually building up to the big conversation you need to have about the emotions that are going to be going through that school. There is going to be a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and a lot of fear. And depending at the age your child is at, is how you're going to talk to them about this. The younger children, you don't want to scare them, but you do want them to be aware. So give examples, prepare them. For the older children, they know what's going on. You need to have a blunt conversation with them, that they don't take this lightly, that they don't want to be a rebel in this situation. We're talking about people's lives. So please, if you're sending your children back to the brick and mortar schools, set your children up for success and set the teachers and the staff at the schools up for success by having these conversations. And do not leave out the conversations on emotions. I thank you all for taking the time to listen to this message.